Well, hello everyone. It is Bukeka Style, coming live from Fave Unite TV. And this is one thing that I have been wanting to do for quite a while, but we had to have some news to share with everyone before we were actually able to do this. And so now we have some news, and this is all about the World Cup in Kansas City. That's right. It's been talked about for eons now. There have been committees and organizations and websites and discussions and more discussions and lots of money, folks. And it is a big deal. There's a lot to that has been done to prepare for this. Kansas City is one of, I believe, 10 cities in the United States. The North America will be hosting the World Cup in the summer of 2026. And so here we are, folks. Here we are. 2026 is just around the corner. And I can't believe how fast 2025 flew by, but it did. But here we are on the cusp of 2026 and on the cusp of the World Cup. So, why did I want to have this discussion? Well, as you know, one of the things about Fave Unite, our motto is when fans rule, everyone wins. And when it comes to fans, folks, I don't care what you say. Um, Soccer fans or football fans that are of um, the soccer element are some of the most amazing fans in the world. Fans of soccer, or I'm going to go ahead and call it football, because that's what it is, are devoted completely to the sport, and and I love that because it's also very cultural. I mean, these are fans that are. Yeah, I mean, we have our fans. Obviously, we're in Kansas City. We're all about the Kansas City Chiefs. A lot of us are. So we have that pride of being from Kansas City. But when you're talking about soccer, you're talking about the countries. Um, it's like the Olympics, right? You have sports enthusiasts, and you have uh, the fans of those who are coming from various countries. Well, in this instance, it's that, but it's one specific sport, and it's huge. It's absolutely huge. And so for North America to have it here in 2026 is amazing. But the fact that it's also in Kansas City, where Fave Unite is located, we're in the general vicinity thereof, it's even more amazing. And so the important thing to note is that we believe that we're prepared. But here's the thing. Uh, the big discussion from our perspective, from my perspective as an artist, as a musician, as one that runs a business that is focused on culture, is Kansas City prepared for that? Not only from the organizing bodies, but from the citizens themselves. Uh, we are about to be visited by over 650,000 people in a metropolitan area that, in its core, is less than that. Now, if you consider the entire metropolitan area, yes, we're talking, about 2 million people. Okay. But what we call Kansas City proper, I think is still only about 500,000, if that. So we're going to have more visitors than we have population in the core of Kansas City, or what we call Kansas City proper. And so, are we prepared for that? Are we prepared for that? Not only from an organizational standpoint, but logistically, are we prepared for that? So, one of the things I um, wanted to share with you is that I believe that we're on the right track. Let me kind of tell you who's coming. There's going to be in Kansas City starting on June the 16th, Argentina and Algeria. On June 20th, Ecuador and Curacao. On June 25th, Tunisia versus the Netherlands. And then on the 27th, it's Algeria again versus Austria. So, what do we know about these different places? And in a bit, I'm just going to update you on some things that are happening with Fave Unite in general, but I definitely wanted to get some information about who's coming. So I just looked up, what are some things that we should know or we can know about Argentina? Well, Argentina is in South America, right? They have music and culture in terms of the arts, like the tango. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with the tango, right? They have their own version of folk and rock music. Um, they are heavily European influenced in terms of their visual arts. There's some of their food is asado, which is barbecue, and empanadas, which I think many of you have heard of. There are growing tech hubs in Buenos Aires, and fintech innovation is taking place there. But based on some of the just easily searchable things to know about Argentina. Their family is very strong, and there's a very expressive social life, and of course there's football, which is a passion. Algeria, located on the continent of Africa, they have uh, folk dance such as Rai, and I think it's called Kabyle, and they have Islamic culture, architecture, and they're very accustomed to producing a lot of the modern literature. Some of their dishes are couscous, which many of us are pretty familiar with, tangines, and they have some very spicy food. They do have a developing technical sector there, very oil driven in terms of modernization. In terms of their cultural norms, hospitality, Islamic traditions, there is some social roles in terms of gender that are a part of Algerian culture. Uh, Ecuador, Ecuador, part of their music that you are probably familiar with is the marimba. Now, one thing I want you to know is that the marimba was actually an instrument that came out of Africa, and then it through the transportation of slaves that went through the Caribbean, it did touch Ecuador. Um, in terms of their what they produce in indigenous textiles and pottery, there is Francesca soup that we're probably familiar with, and plantains. Oh my gosh, plantains, some of the best food on the planet. And they do have an expanding digital economy, a lot of mobile banking, very family centered, lots of diversity in terms of the region. And there's highlands and there's coastal regions for Ecuador. Okay, so now let's look at Curacao. Some of the music that we're probably most familiar with from that region is carnival music. Yay! Afro-Caribbean mural street art, that type of artistic expression. Let's see, food that you might not be familiar with, keshi yena, which is stuffed cheese, and stoba soup. Tourism is big for Curacao. They do have some fintech growth going on there, very multilingual. There is Dutch, there is English, and Papiamento, which I believe is the indigenous language there, and I think they're big on Sunday family gatherings. So, there's a lot that we can relate to with that as well. Tunisia. Tunisia will be one of the teams here. So, what are some things that we can learn about Tunisia? Well, uh, they have some traditional folk music that they have. Malaf is one of them. They have Roman ruins there, and they have Islamic calligraphy. So they're very ancient part of our world history. Another couscous and harisha. You guys, okay? I know you guys have probably gotten some Harisha tasting food. Seafood is big. They do have some expanding startups in the area. Renewable energy tech is big in that area in terms of how they're growing as a country. There's a blend of secularism as well as is Islam. Hospitality, conservative, rule norms is what you might find more in Tunisia. Netherlands. Now, I actually traveled to the Netherlands back in 2006. I had the esteemed pleasure and privilege to tour with Alita Adams. If you guys know the name or heard the song "Get Here If You Can," get here if you can. You know the song. But we toured the Netherlands, beautiful country. They have a lot of classical elements there. Rembrandt, you'll see his museum, a Rembrandt museum there. They have a lot of electronic dance music coming out of the Netherlands and jazz. They have lots of great food. I can tell you that for sure. I went to a pancake restaurant there, the best pancakes I ever had. Best pancakes I ever had. But cheese, like Gouda and Edam. I just said the pancakes. There's a lot of Indonesian population there as well. They are definitely a global leader in the world of water tech. They have some amazing dams there because it kind of sits in a basin. It's an interesting place. But they've got, they're heavily involved in AI and green innovation. They're pretty liberal, tolerant um, uh, culture, and I can attest to that too. Anyway, and then we have Austria. Austria is one of those classical giants. You got Mozart, you got Strauss, you've got yodeling, that type of thing. They have Baroque architecture. There is Wiener Schnitzel and coffee house culture. They have a lot of biotech happening in Austria, environmental tech, and they're very polite, right? That's a part of their cultural norm is being very polite. So I say this because when we have people coming to see their players from all these different countries, right? We it would be good for us to kind of have a clue as to, how we meeting people where they are, right? Meeting people where they are. And that's what this is about. It's about being able to connect with people. And that's what this sport does. It allows us to connect with people. And I think this versus the Olympics, where everything is kind of happening in one spot. The fact that this is happening throughout North America, and people are so excited about this. People are just raving about this. It heightens the energy. It heightens the energy that is going to be taking place beforehand and afterwards. So, that's just something to really look forward to. So the big thing for Kansas City is, and the big thing for you is, if you are a business, if you're an entertainer, if you're an entrepreneur, is how do you fit into all this? Because one thing that we are definitely run by in this country is the dollar bill, y'all, right? We know that there's a lot of money being spent on this. I think early projections of the money that was being spent in Kansas City was to the tune of $165 million. I'm sure it's probably more than that, but You consider all the things that have to go on. There's the transportation, there's the marketing, there's the safety, there's the hospitality, and then there are certain things that is specifically a FIFA interest. All right, so there's a part of this whole thing where we got to make sure that they are happy, that they have what they need to run the show. All right. It's kind of like the Super Bowl and the NFL. Whatever city that event's going to be held in, that municipality has to make sure that the NFL is happy. I remember my mom was on the NFL committee in 1980 something when the Super Bowl was at a place called the Pontiac Silverdome. And so she was on that committee, and their whole agenda was to make sure that the NFL had what they needed in terms of media, in terms of all the things that are going to make sure that that was a success, right? So everything else, as long as they got theirs, that's cool. But then, what about the rest of it? What about the rest of the things that are going to be happening? So take, for example, if you're going to have 650,000, 700,000 people coming into Kansas City. And, we want to make sure that we're courteous, we're kind, that we're doing what we need to do as a culture to support that. And we want to make sure that they leave wanting to come back, right? Because again, it is about the dollar, right? We want to make sure that there is tourism. My son is calling me. It's so funny. Um, um, hey, hey, I'm doing a live on YouTube right now. Say hi, everybody.
Hi. Oh, you did it and not me. Hi.
Hi. We'll call you. You should tune into YouTube right now and look at your mother. Okay, goodbye. I love you. Those are the kids. I wasn't sure if I was going to take that call, but I'm like, hey, why not? It's a live show. So anyway, the fact is that we're going to have so many people coming here, and we want to put out the good china. We want to roll out the red carpet. We want people to come back because we know that this is an economic boom for Kansas City. So how do you participate in that? How do entrepreneurs participate in that? Well, one thing that you can do is you can go to Kansas City um, uh, 2026, and you can start to input your information as far as a business is concerned. I believe first quarter of 2026, you're going to be able to enter some information about being an artist or a musician for entertainment. And I'm going to tell you why that's very, very important. So I want all my musicians, all my vocalists, all my artists to pay attention to this. Kansas City is known for music. However, however, so much of that industry, in terms of an industry, goes right over us. People from all over the world export Kansas City musicians, studio musicians, vocalists, that type of thing. Um, but now everybody's coming here. So you need to make sure that you get your foot in the door because there because people are good. All these people who we just learned about their culture and what they eat and what their norms are, they're going to want to experience that here. Now, they can always, I mean, we can always provide them with the foods that they love, and I think that's important because, let's face it, if you're on a if you're used to eating uh uh Finesca soup or couscous, and then you have a full plate of barbecue, that might not necessarily work well with your system. You know what I'm saying? So, you definitely want to, we want to be able to uh, give them some of their own flavor, right? But they're going to want to experience our flavor. They're going to want to experience our music. They're going to want to experience Kansas City jazz. They're going to want to experience Kansas City hip hop. They're going to want to experience Kansas City rock and roll. They're going to want to experience Kansas City country. They're going to want to experience those things, things that they've heard about but have never really seen, right? Things that they've heard about but have never really seen. Here's our opportunity to give it to them. And we should do that. And we should have the access to do that. So we want to make sure that as an artist, you are connecting your information with Kansas City World Cup 2026. I know I am. I know plenty of people that are going to do the same thing. So we need to get our foot in the door. Our plan as at Fave Unite is to cover a lot of the activities as much as possible that's going on around the city, and let people around the world know because for one thing, as you know, Fave Unite. Okay, we are a global platform, and a lot of our audience comes from Africa, right? And so we know that South Africa is going to be playing here. They're not going to be playing in Kansas City, as far as we know. They might, depends on what happens for the like the for the final rounds, which we are going to get. We're going to get July 3rd and then July 11th for the quarterfinal, and so that's gonna even have a greater surge of people, right? So, but South Africa is going to be playing in the U.S. and we have a lot of people on the continent of Africa that doesn't really matter if they're at all because they love soccer. So they're going to be watching. We're going to have people coming from Africa. We're going to have people coming from South America. And in these times, that is an important thing to notice. Okay. We're going to have people wanting to come from Africa and people wanting to come from South America. And so I really, really, really am, so I say hope and pray. Uh, I'm just going to say we're going to hold the light around all of our brothers and sisters coming from countries that are from Africa and from South America. Not that we wouldn't do it for everybody, but for sure there because of the climate that is here, you know. Um, we want to make sure that people feel welcome, period. And again, because this is an economic boost for Kansas City, for the United States. And as much money is being spent on this, there's going to be a lot of money that floods in. So anyway, make sure let's make sure that people feel are treated well and feel good about being in the United States. So a little bit more about let's look at logistics. And I'm gonna not lie to you, I have not figured out how to do this picture on picture thing, but whatever. Uh, let me see if I can do that. I'm gonna just try. I'm gonna try to do that. And oh, I think I can. I think I can do that. Oh my gosh, let's just see if I can do it. Let's see. Okay. All right. I think I did it. I'm not quite sure what you're seeing, but if you're seeing what I'm seeing, then you're seeing that we have, there we go. Woohoo! All right. A little delay. Anyway, so you can see that logistically, we've got some things covered, right? So this is what you see here is you see some of the fan areas, right? We've got places as far out as Lawrence, Kansas, right? There's transportation that's going to be in these blue areas that are going to take people to and from the event. There'll be all this activity all around here. I think that's pretty cool. So we are prepared, and I think that's a really cool thing for us to be able to know that things have been mapped out literally very well for this experience. And so and as far out as Lawrence, Kansas, up north, um, Lee Summit, so it's going to be pretty cool. We're going to have people visiting all of those different areas and having a really good time. And for those of you that aren't familiar with, Kansas and Missouri, so Kansas and Missouri are right next to each other. These are for our international people, are right next to each other, and essentially this is for the most part what you see here is the greater Kansas City area. So I'm just telling you folks, it's going to be about 750,000 people that are going to be hanging out around these areas, and we want to be we want to make sure that we're being good citizens, and that we're being um uh that we're being good hosts, right? So that is one thing and that I wanted to make sure that you could see. So there's all kinds of opportunity here, all kinds of opportunity that we should be able to, as artists, to participate in. There's artists in every one of these areas. So we should be able to participate in the artistic expression of Kansas City the city, all over the city. Okay. So I just wanted you guys to see that. Um, Let me see. I want to share also a couple of things because there's a lot going on with the World Cup, but there's also a lot going on with Fave Unite. That's right. A lot going on with Fave Unite. So I'm just going to pull up some information here and that I want you all to be aware of. Okay. I want you all to be aware of. Hold on. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So here's one thing I want you to be aware of. We have some exciting things happening with Fave Unite. Okay. We are one of Kansas City's 2026 Small Business Superstars. Woo! 2026 Small Business Superstars. Fave Unite is. Yes, yes, yes. And when you go to faveunite.com, you're going to be able to see information about, what we are as a company. We always make sure that we have new content that flows through that you can get a taste of. But we've got Fave Unite Academy, and we have two amazing instructors, and we're going to be expanding that pretty soon. But for those of you that are interested in how to create or get into the film industry. We've got Doris Douglas, who is giving a course on starting your career in film, and she has a master class on how to hack Hollywood. And then, okay, we also have one on menopause. Okay. Now, this might not be for all of you, but I know that there are some women out there that would be really interested in what is going on with their bodies right now, body, mind, and spirit in many cases. But I love our website. It gives you a lot of information. As you can see here, if you go to the Academy tab, you're going to be able to see who is giving instruction in our academy. If you are interested in being a part of our academy, we welcome you to go to our website, faveunite.com, and let us know. Also, we are definitely dedicated to our global partnerships. Right now, we have a couple in Africa. We have the Eurocon Arts and Culture Hub in Nakuru, Kenya, and then we also have the McCurdy Talent Hub in McCurdy, Nigeria. And if you would like to support our organization with those efforts, we do have a GoFundMe that you can go to and learn more about what we're doing in that regard. And if you just want to donate in general, there's some ways that you can just either go directly to the GoFundMe page, or you can see how to become a partner with us on this page. I'm just kind of giving you a walkthrough of what you can see. If you would like to be to go to our other other ways that you can see us. You can go to our Fave Unite TV. You can go to Fave Unite FM and hear some wonderful music. We've got Wombology, which is led by Dr. Enolia Pedro, and on our Fave Unite FM. And so if you click that button, you're going to be able to get to that. And there's other organizations that we really support, Heartland Arts KC, as well as Foresight Film and Music Workshop. So there's all kinds of things that are on faveunite.com, and we really would love for you to take a look and see what's there. But we are a multimedia platform that is dedicated to uniting fans, artists, and venues into an ecosystem that amplifies Black stories and Black storytellers. And so we really appreciate you being a part of this channel. So having said all that, going to stop and just kind of get back to our regularly scheduled programming here, right? So anyway, just really glad to be with you guys this evening. So more about the players. Oh, I tell you, my first soccer game was with the Kansas City Current, and it was amazing. So proud of Kansas City that we have the KC Current, the only soccer stadium in the world dedicated to women's soccer, and so proud of the Kansas City Current. Had the pleasure of meeting some of the leadership there. They're just delightful. They're so involved in the community, and really glad that they can call KC their home. We know that the Mahomes are part owners, so thank you, Patrick and Brittany, for making sure that happens. And let's see, who else can I say about that amazing organization? But just an incredible team. But anyway, so here's one of the things that really might surge the number of people coming to Kansas City when we have this incredible World Cup taking place in North America. So Argentina, their big player is Lionel Messi. Messi. I hope I'm saying that right. Messi. Anyway, in the event that Portugal, and I don't know what city they're playing in, but in the event that Portugal and Argentina have a match in Kansas City, that's going to be bananas. That's going to be utterly bananas. Cristiano Ronaldo is the big star on the Portugal team. So when I went to Portugal in July of this year, representing Creative City KC, me and my daughter-in-law get off the plane. All we hear is scream, 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 scream. Well, there was a match taking place, and they were winning. And I'm telling you, nothing was moving in that airport. Okay. When we got off that plane, everybody was all eyes on Ronaldo. Okay. So if Portugal and Argentina are the teams that end up being in Kansas City, like during that quarterfinal or something of that nature, it's going to be bananas. Bananas, y'all. Just be ready. Make sure your phones are charged, make sure that you have batteries, make sure that you've got lighting, make sure that you are ready all you content creators, be ready, and I think this is good. I think this is really good for us to be able to showcase this type of activity in our city. I think it's fantastic. I think it's going to be fun. Um, so uh, definitely wanted to just make a statement about how proud I am of Kansas City to be hosting these teams in the World Cup. And I know that there is a lot of there's controversy about everything, right? There's controversy about everything. If anybody wants to make any comments, go ahead. I think I've got the live chat open. If you have any questions or if you've got any comments about what's going on with the World Cup, put it in the chat. And if I don't have an answer for you now, but I've been to a few meetings and I've got a little bit of information, I'd be happy to put that here so that if you've got things that you want to know about, consider Fave Unite as a source of information. That's what we plan on being, keeping people updated on what's happening as it gets closer to the summer of 2026, when all this is going down, when it's all going down. So yes, definitely put those questions in the chat. Um, if you have information, or if you have questions about, say for example, you want to know where to go in Kansas City, where to go in terms of the best barbecue, or some of the best venues for certain different types of music, shoot us a question and let us know what your question is, and we'll dig that up, because we're going to keep this up all through 2026 through the World Cup. And so this is just a launch of that, and we're really excited for that to be happening. Um, I can't think of anything else right now that I have learned about in terms of the World Cup in Kansas City. Just know it's going to be bananas. Just know it's going to be totally bananas. And then for those of you that have a business that are musicians, keep track of that Kansas City World Cup website. Put your information in, and let people know you are here and you are ready to go. Make sure that you have your marketing materials. Make sure that you have your websites up, because what's going to happen is that the folks are going to leave, but they're going to want to stay connected with the Kansas City areas. This is your chance to be connected with people internationally. This is your opportunity to go global. I don't care what kind of product you got, whatever it is. There's something special about this time, this region, and who we are as a country, and who we are as Kansas Cityans. Even if you're in Lenexa, if you're in Leawood, or if you're in Lee Summit, wherever you are in the greater Kansas City area, we can touch people's lives, and we can let people know that we are citizens that care, that we are citizens that are embracing inclusion. Yes, we are. We are embracing inclusion. We are embracing diversity, and we want things to be equitable and a wonderful experience for everybody that comes here. We really do. We don't want to have a name or a reputation for shunning people, or to disenfranchise people. Absolutely the opposite. We want people to know that we are welcoming folks, and that this is a time of opportunity, that this is a time of prosperity. This is a time of celebration in the world of soccer. And so we know that there's going to be games in Kansas City. There's going to be games in Dallas, Atlanta, Seattle. I don't know all the names of the city. You can go onto the KC 2026 website, Kansas City 2026 website, and find out where all the other cities are. Or go to the FIFA website. You can do that too, and just find out where all the other teams are. Because you might want to go to some. You might want to go. You might want to go somewhere else to see those games, and you can buy your tickets and go see those games and have a good time. Canada, Mexico, be a global traveler. Let this opportunity expand your horizon as well. Um, so that's what we wanted to just let everybody know today, that we are here for the World Cup. You will see updates from Fave Unite. We're going to be going to meetings. We're going to be talking to people. We're going to be getting more and more information, and we're going to share all of that with you. Yes, we are, right? So, that being said, I hope you guys have a great Friday or Saturday, where you might be in the world, because we have a global audience. And just make sure that you are being kind to one another, and that you have uh, uh, and that you're yeah, that you're being kind to one another, and that you're open to for everybody to have the best life. So thanks everybody for watching. This is Bukeka Blakemore from Fave Unite, where fans rule, everyone wins. Have a good night. Maybe. Why don't I ever know how to do this properly? I'm gonna figure it out though. Hold on. Okay. Bye.